Hello everyone, this is Poorly Drawn Randomness, and wait, we gotta get into uniform. That's better. Alright, we're gonna be talking about America's first Vietnam, and yeah, everyone is somewhat fascinated by wars and the destruction it causes. We all know the big boys of World War I and II, Vietnam, Civil War, and the Revolutionary War, all that. But I'm here to talk about a war that no one ever talks about, probably because it received really bad press. And everyone knows that the United States hobby is covering up their atrocities. It's the Philippine-American War. It all begins with the Spanish-American War. The U.S. probably framed Spain for the USS Maine. Hey, that rhymes. The US fought Spain in Cuba, and the Americans defeated the Spanish and also aided in the revolutions for quote-unquote independence for Cuba and the Philippines. In turn, the Spanish gave up the majority of their colonial empire, including Guam, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. The US gave Spain $10 million just to say thank you, and they had three options: either give it back to Spain, give the colonies independence, or annex the colonies. Obviously, since the US paid $10 million, they weren't just going to give it back as a charity. And initially, since the US was aiding the Philippine Revolution, the Filipinos are just like, wow, thank you for independence. But then the Americans are just like, what the hell? Hell nah, bruh. We paid good money for you. What? So just like that, the Filipinos were double-crossed. The main Filipino revolutionary, Emilio Aguinaldo, was like, the hell? We ain't gonna let this happen again. So he declared independence from the US in 1899, calling his new country the First Philippine Republic, thus starting the Philippine-American War. The war was pretty short-lived, only lasting around 3 years because Emilio got caught. The actual conflict would almost last 17 years. However, in the interwar period, the Battle of Manila was the biggest battle fought. Within the 3 years, 4,200 US soldiers would die, while 20,000 Filipinos would die. It's what would happen after the war that is interesting. Even though Emilio was captured, the Filipinos still wanted to fight for their independence. The US is good at war and all, but not this type. It's guerrilla warfare. The Filipinos did what the Viets would do in 60 years. The United States was very unfamiliar to this guerrilla warfare. There were some interesting stories during this guerrilla period, such as the Muros in the south. That's how they look like. They are very scary, I know. They were called Juramentados, meaning oath takers in Spanish. These dudes were basically on crack, so the first, second, third, or even fourth shot from your standard pistol wouldn't bring these guys down. Really, the only effective measure of taking these dudes down were shotguns or rifles. Since the guerrillas were integrated with the civilian population, they began tearing the Philippines down. In the words of Brigadier General Jacob H. Smith, "I want no prisoners. I wish you to kill and burn. The more you kill and burn, the better it will please me. I want all persons killed who are capable of bearing arms in actual hostilities against the United States." He implemented a no-prisoner type of warfare. For those who were curious, those capable of bearing arms were people over the age of 10. The Americans did a scorched earth approach, where they forced the Filipinos out of their homes or make them watch it burn. Many Filipinos were forced into concentration camps. These camps were filthy, and cholera ran rampant. Diseases from the camp, plus the famines produced by scorched earth, took the lives of over 200,000 Filipinos. Jacob H. Smith would be infamously named the Monster of the Philippines. Some Americans said that this brutality was justified because many soldiers claimed that the Filipinos were equally as brutal. One instance was when a garrison of unarmed American soldiers were massacred while eating breakfast by hundreds of Filipino civilians and guerrillas. This was named the Balangiga Massacre. Another very, very, very gruesome claim was that a soldier was found buried with his head only above the ground where his mouth was propped open by a stake. There lay a trail of sugar leading into his mouth where the ants could just do... yeah, ugh. But it got better, slowly. The American public was just about done with American imperialism, where America is supposed to stand for freedom and liberty, but at the same time they also commit atrocities against the Filipino people. Pressured by the public, America agreed to the Jones Act of 1916, which promised eventual freedom. The Filipinos were making great progress, where they took charge of internal affairs in 1921 and developed a provisional Senate in 1916. The full independence of the Philippines was delayed by World War II, where the Japanese annexed the country. Here we go again. But here comes America playing hero ball trying to save the Philippines. Some important battles that happened in the Philippines was the Battle of Leyte Gulf, the Battle of Luzon, and the Battle of Bataan. It was General Douglas MacArthur who spearheaded the liberation of the Philippines. Surprisingly, his dad, Arthur MacArthur, weird, was the first governor of the American Philippines in 1900. Maybe that's why he was so motivated to return to the Philippines. But after the war, the US kept its end of the promise, finally. And finally, after almost 500 years of colonialism, the Philippines gained its independence. This is Poorly Drawn Randomness, and I hope you found the video fun and informative. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help, and it will mean the world to me. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.